One man who did make it into Douma was Stefan Borg. He is an international correspondent with Sweden's TV4 News and one of the few reporters to have visited the scene of that suspected chemical attack. And we'll take a look, Stefan, at some of your reporting in a moment. But for clarity's sake, please let our viewers know how you got access to what was until recently the besieged town of Douma, and how free were you to move about and report?
Well, there was an organized tour by the Ministry of Information, so we were some 10 vehicles with international journalists that were allowed to enter Douma. And we made stops at 3 different places, and the third place was quite close to where this chemical attack happened. We were not stopped to moving around freely, and nobody told us what to do. So I just started asking locals of exactly where this building was, and after some 10 minutes we got there as the first foreign journalists to see that building where the chemical attack actually happened and talk to people there.
Stefan, some journalists said they spoke to residents who said there was no gas attack, just like the Syrians and the Russians contend. But you did, I know, speak to a man who says he survived an attack. I want our viewers just to listen to his account. Stand by.
I
sat in the basement when it happened. The house was hit around 7 in the evening. We ran out, and women and children ran into the house. They didn't know that the house had been hit from above and was filled with gas. The ones who ran into the house died immediately. I ran out, feeling dizzy.
Stefan, the men running away, the women and children running towards the gas, that's quite a jumbled account. You spoke to several other witnesses I know. Who did they blame for the attack?
Well, this gentleman that we spoke to, who, by the way, lost his wife, his pregnant wife, brothers, sisters, mother, only his father survived because he wasn't there. He blamed the rebel side for doing this, and also he blamed the white helmets, the emergency service there, for not coming to rescue them when that happened.
What else did you hear? What else did you witness while you were there?
Well, first we spoke to a neighbor who lived just across the street, who told us about what he saw, and then we interviewed this guy that actually was down in the basement with lots of people. There were tens of people downstairs, and they heard a sound, something like when a gas container was opened and you could hear the gas coming out. That's what he described, and that that scared them, of course, and that's why they ran out and then into the building, where many of them just collapsed and died almost immediately. And then he told his story that as we said, he collapsed outside the building, and then he was trying to get some help to get there, but the white helmets didn't want to come there, and he blamed them for not doing what they should do to save lives at that time, and also blamed the rebels for actually being responsible for the whole attack. Now you have to bear in mind that this is an area that is now controlled by the government, so you cannot expect people to criticize the government and blame them for doing something like this. So that's something you have to have in mind when you listen to stories like this.
Sure. Stefan, the chemical weapons inspectors are still not in Douma to conduct their investigation after an advanced team came under fire earlier this week. The US, of course, says the timing of the fact-finding mission is critical. You have been on the ground. It is unclear to most of us what indeed is the methodology that the OPCW will use to try to secure evidence, if indeed there is some. To your mind, how tough will their job be? And by the way, did you fear for your own safety? After all, this group of weapons inspectors aren't going in because at present they do fear for their safety.
Well, I didn't know that was the reason for not letting them go in. I didn't feel any security threat at all when we were there. It was quite friendly. People were friendly to us all the time. And it really surprised me that, first of all, that we as journalists could go there before the inspectors did. and also that we could go to that building. It was not sealed off in any way. It was open to anybody to enter, and we could talk to anybody there. So of course, it's an enormous challenge for the inspectors to come there, to get samples, to do interviews with people, and maybe items have been removed or taken away. So of course, for every day that goes without them coming there, it will be more and more difficult to get good results from their inspection.
Stefan Borg, out of Beirut for you this evening, one of a handful of journalists who've been to that scene in Syria. Thank you for your insights, sir.